Your brother's soul is mine.
Lawless victory.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the different fighting games across the FGC. Street Fighter is doing pretty well. These guys have massive collaborations. Their player count on Steam is incredible. And what we're learning about PlayStation is that the PlayStation player counts and the PlayStation player bases are just as strong. So Street Fighter is sitting in a good position right now. Street Fighter 6 definitely brought them back to the forefront in a lot of people's minds. And that game will continue to be a strong representation of what a fighting game should be, could be. And there's not much that can stop them because all of their characters is taking on a whole new meaning of relevance. Their movie is going to come out within a year and it's going to push them even further into the stratosphere. Right now, Street Fighter is looking as good as they have ever looked. For Tekken 8, there's been a lot more controversy there. Even though Street Fighter is doing the same, if not more stuff in terms of monetization that Tekken 8 is doing, Tekken 8 is still getting more pushback than Street Fighter. And that's mostly because of the way the developers have been communicating with players, and then also the promises that was made but not kept. Tekken 8 is now trying to fight out of that hole by releasing their newest DLC characters and having those things be like the best balanced iteration that it could be. The only thing that game can do to get out of the hole that they're currently in is just keep releasing great characters, but also fix the game in season 3 so that the competitive scene, the more diehard players are satisfied. But then also people are starting to talk about guest characters and what type of character can be added to those franchises to make it even more explosive, bring in players. So Tekken 8 is kind of in a rebuilding phase right now. A lot of the ideas that they had at launch caused major controversy and chaos, so they have to rebuild from that. Now, as for Mortal Kombat, we saw that franchise collapse after 2 years. We have this chart here that was made by Murdoink, and you can see the red line, which is Mortal Kombat 1 when they stopped selling the game, when they ended the life of it. It was like sitting really high. It was above 6 million. And then for Street Fighter 6, this game was just reaching 5 million copies as well, so that was doing incredible. And then now for Tekken 8, you can see this line pretty much flatline. We're still waiting for 4 million copies sold. Maybe that will be said at the Game Awards. If they're there, if they're present, we still don't know about that. If it is, then the dot will be somewhere where my mouse is at. But if they don't announce 4 million copies at the Game Awards, this graph will be pretty much accurate. Another fighting game that a lot of people forgotten about was Dragon Ball Sparking. Everyone tried it. This game broke records on release, but then also a month later it was reported that 90% of their player base left the game, and this was something that a lot of people was like laughing at, pointing at, making fun of, and just generally talking about, really, because a lot of the problems that Tekken 8 suffer from also impacts Dragon Ball Sparking: cheaters, netcode, and also balancing. Now, I'm not too locked into the balancing, so I don't know how that has evolved over time, but I know that they've been trying to fight back against a lot of the cheaters and stuff that's been going on. They've been doing a really good job of trying to make their game good again, right? You talk about rebuilding the same way Tekken 8 is, they have. And now we have this report here that 1 year after launch, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is still attracting over 1 million players every month. This is a very, very good sign for Dragon Ball and also this fighting game. You know, it's a Bandai Namco owned property, so if this game is doing well, that would at least encourage Bandai Namco to do more fighting game related things. And when you talk about their other fighting game needing a helping hand, Tekken 8, a lot of players are now suggesting that Bandai Namco should put a Dragon Ball character, a Dragon Ball themed battle pass, a Dragon Ball stage, or a Dragon Ball skin / items into Tekken 8 to boost that game as well. We see how strong this IP is, especially in terms of fighting games, and Tekken 8 could definitely benefit off of that. If there's a developer listening, please try to make that happen. One of these immaculate animes that Bandai Namco has control over, connect that to Tekken 8 in some sort of collaboration, whether it be a battle pass, a skin, a shop, a stage, a character. Something like that can really elevate both of these franchises. They also won an award for this. PlayStation was kind of just celebrating some of the games that's doing really well, and Dragon Ball Sparking was one of them. Doubling back to Mortal Kombat, you know, Injustice, that whole thing. But ever since the pandemic, I want to say around 2020, word started to spread around that one, Warner Bros. Discovery was looking to sell the whole thing, but then also they were looking to sell their gaming division. Now, Now, as that conversation evolved and things developed, we see now that they're trying to sell the whole company to someone else. A lot of different companies who are bidding and trying to buy Warner Bros. The most notable was Paramount. That would have made them a absolute juggernaut in the entertainment medium. Really, any company that buys Warner Bros. Will have so much power and influence. And this is why I think, when the Saudis were trying to bid and buy Warner Bros., this is why I was terrified, because Warner Bros. Has a lot of legendary IPs. They have all of DC, all of Cartoon Network, all of Adult Swim. They have so many different historic networks. And then also you could talk about their entire gaming division. Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, and they have two others that I can't really think of right now. But if that would have been purchased by Saudi Arabia, that would have been one of the craziest purchases of all time, because they have a lot of characters under their banner that is super iconic. So this is why I am personally happy that a company like Netflix is stepping in to try and buy them. Currently right now, Netflix has the highest bid and they're offering mostly cash. So this really is enticing for the people in charge of Warner Bros. The one thing about Warner Bros. Is that if Netflix buys it, this would probably change the landscape of streaming, because there is a couple of streaming sites that are all very much competitors. You have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have Apple, you have HBO, and then you could also say Disney Plus. Warner Bros. Own HBO. So if Netflix buys Warner Bros., that would mean they also own HBO. And the question then comes up, will Netflix merge HBO and all of that stuff into their software, kind of like what we've seen with the Disney Plus and Hulu now being merged into one? Will this mean that that Netflix can increase their prices further, because they've been doing that nonstop? The prices are pretty much double from where it used to be. Right now, it's definitely a weird time for like all of this entertainment medium things. Netflix also had their own gaming division, but then they couldn't turn out a game, so they shut it all down. So when you hear that they're, impossibly in control of Warner Bros. Gaming division, Mortal Kombat and all that, if things don't go right there, we know what they'll do. So this is a very interesting moment for Warner Bros., all of their IPs, and then also as us mostly gamers looking at this, how would their gaming division be impacted by this? Fighting games are bigger than ever in terms of how much money they're making, how much money they're generating. This is why you see Saudi Arabia buying Evo. This is why you also see Saudi Arabia throwing so much money at these tournaments. They did the EWC where they give out like $1 million to Street Fighter, $1 million to Tekken 8, $1 million to Fatal Fury. They're going to do another tournament now, Esports Nations Cup, where they're going to be giving out more money. There's a lot of money to be made here in the fighting game world. You can also talk about the whole pay-per-view thing that Street Fighter is doing. Tekken hopes to reach their level of success, so maybe they could do it in the future as well. This is why you see so many never before crossovers. There's a lot of money to be made, and these companies have realized that, and they're all throwing so much money at it because they know within time they will make it all back.